My quintet for alto saxophone and string quartet was commissioned by several different organizations, including the Arizona Friends of Chamber Music, who first brought the idea to me. And they were headed by a man named Jean-Paul Bierny. And he asked me if I would be interested in writing a piece for alto saxophone and string quartet. This is not something I'd ever thought about doing, but it kind of excited me when he brought up the subject, and I found it rather charming that Jean-Paul, being a Belgian, and of course the sax was invented by Mr. Sax, a Belgian, I found that kind of charming too. So I said, yes, I'd love to do it. So as it turned out, I felt I had so much ground to cover that I really didn't know much of anything about the saxophone. And so I really had to study the instrument and its repertoire and talk to people who played it and all of that kind of thing. So I plunged into that about 2 years before I was supposed to write this piece. And I got so involved and so kind of taken with the instrument and feeling particularly that I would love to contribute a work that was a real chamber music piece, with the saxophone being an equal partner, but the strings not being accompaniment, as in much of the literature, but being really challenging partners as well. So I got kind of excited about it, and I actually started writing the piece, and I just couldn't stop. So I got through, and now I'm about 2 years early. So I called Jean-Paul, the Arizona Friends of Chamber Music, which was supposed to do the premiere. He happened to not only be a Belgian, but he's a radiologist. And I said, Jean-Paul, I feel like I've gone to the doctor, I've gotten an x-ray, and he said, come back in 2 years and we'll tell you what it says. And he was just really wonderful. And as it happened, the Chicago Chamber Musicians were going to be guests of the festival, the Arizona Friends of Chamber Music, the next season. And he asked them if they would be willing to do the string quartet and saxophone quintet. And they were. We've had a nice, long, fruitful relationship, and I have great, great admiration and affection for these people. So I ended up having the premiere a year early, and with this rather stellar group. An interesting thing about it is that on the same program, they did the Brahms clarinet quintet with the wonderful Chicago clarinetist Larry Coombs, and the difference in sound and in sort of spirit of the two quintets, the saxophone and string quartet and the clarinet and string quartet, was really stunning. And I'm a believer that instruments have a kind of karma, and I enjoy feeling like I'm trying to discover this. This is a part of what I do. So that was really quite rewarding. And again, my intention was to write a very chamber-like piece, where it has all the elements that I love about chamber music, that sort of electricity of the sort of the line moves from here to there, and someone contributes something and it sparks another response in another player. It's a remarkable thing. It's one of my favorite things in the world, chamber music. So that was a great pleasure, and it was very, very nice to have the first performance with the Chicago Chamber Musicians. I have to say there's a new recording by the Chicago Chamber Musicians. I'm going to hold it up like I'm on TV or something. And it is stunning. It is just wonderful. I just was so excited when I heard it. It just has all of the elements of understanding about the way the piece is made, coupled with just sheer excitement. And it just has a feeling of a marinated performance, like it's really in their bloodstream, and it's really their piece, not my piece anymore. So I'm just really very, very happy about that new recording.